At the outset, let me appreciate all those who are sitting in this room. You have decided to spend your quality time with these unfortunate children. And it's very, very important that we show our compassion, spend our time with these low vision children because they need our attention as ophthalmologists. Okay, I'll be just combining these two talks about what to prescribe to low vision children. And you all know the definition, that is vision worsen than 618 to light perception. And what to prescribe particularly to children, that's one important question that on a day-to-day basis when we see children with low vision, that comes to our mind, because there are a different range of diseases are there, and it all depends upon the visual field, the age of the child, the need, the affordability, and other comorbidities. So when to prescribe is also a very important thing. So when we see a child coming near to the board and then holding the book very close, suppose there are other mobility issues, then these are the time that we have to look whether we have to prescribe some low vision devices, because the children usually have a very good accommodative reserve. But before prescribing device, we have to think that also into our mind. And then children learns by imitation. We know that the education, majority of the education happens by their vision. And we have to also look at the other comorbidities also. And we have to actually find out what is the cause of the visual loss, what is the other surgical intervention that is required, and the visual function assessment has to be done. Accurate refraction has to be done. Assessing and prescribing of the low vision devices comes last. And before also prescribing, we also should establish whether it is a prenatal cause or a perinatal or a postnatal cause. Now, children with corneal opacities where their residual vision is very, very poor, we can go for electronic devices. But other children who have reasonably good residual vision, we can go for the magnifiers, spectacles, or contact lenses. But I have seen children with Steven Johnson syndrome with the bone dry eyes also. One of the child had a very small area of the cornea which was clear, because all the posterior segment was normal. The child was able to read some of the magnified print through a CCTV. So we can try some of the CCTV also with these children. And then examination methods is also very important. We have to go through a proper and a complete examination. Vision assessment with the Lachman charts has been already explained. And then these are some of the formulas that we generally use. Quite often we use the Kestenbaum's formula, that is actually the reverse of the visual acuity. Suppose a child has a vision of 6 by 60, you take the reciprocal of the vision, that is 60 divided by 6 or 6 by 36, then the resulting power will be the dioptric equivalent that you have to use. Otherwise, you can also use for the near vision, it is the equivalent viewing power. So you take the best corrected visual acuity divided by the target visual acuity, and then multiply by the working distance. So that is for the near vision. So these are this will work as a starting as a thumb rule when you prescribe, or you have to do that more scientifically instead of just giving magnifiers one after the other. Quite often it's better we teach our optometrists also these formulas, so they are also able to prescribe some of these, and then we can always confirm when we give the final prescription. And then coming to the optical devices, we have a range of optical devices, the telescopes, the aspheric lenses. You have the prism glasses, the paperweight or the dome magnifiers, or the last one will be an electronic magnifiers or the CCTV. So you have the single vision spectacle lenses. These are called as Bayesian prisms that helps in the aids the convergence, and it's hands free. There is a relatively shorter working distance for them. You have sphericals up to 24 diopters and aspherics up to 48 diopters. These are half-eye frames. And the next one will be for the distant vision, you have the telescopes. So you have a range of telescope from 2H to 8H. But generally, I don't prescribe higher powers because the field is restricted. We can restrict up to 4H. And then these Galilean telescopes works best for the children's. And generally, we try to avoid that in a case of nystagmus because there will be a motion parallax. If you hold a telescope even very firmly, you will see the objects moving. So don't prescribe in case of nystagmus. Also make sure they have a reasonably good field while prescribing a telescope. The telescopes can be also fitted to a spectacle frame because this leaves the child hands free. They can also look at the board, they can try to write, they can try to read. Giving a handheld telescope actually restricts the child's mobility in a classroom because practically in a classroom this will not work. The next is the stand magnifier. This has got a fixed focus. Now you get magnifiers with the illumination. There are aspherical lenses are also mounted in that. This is a very simple low vision aid called as the dome magnifier, or you can call it as a paperweight magnifier also. It's very simple aid because it is more transparent. When you give a very good illumination, it is very easy for the child just to keep it over the books and then move it along. And it's very easy to use. The last one will be when the child does not improve with any of these optical devices, when the child's residual vision is very, very poor, then the final electronic magnifier only will be the option. And then you have the latest CCTVs with the mouse. These are very old CCTVs. And you have the other non-optical aids. It's always better to give a complete prescription. It's not enough just to prescribe only the optical aid. Always try to prescribe some of these or recommend some of these large print books, these letter writing guides. All this will help the children. The bold tip pens, that also has to be explained to the children. And the prescription of low vision aids and training in their use. So it all depends upon their visual needs. Now coming to the high-tech options. Now today you might wonder whether all these high-tech options works in an Indian setup. That's one question people ask. We do have some of these high-tech options that are affordable in India. Perhaps if you look at this picture with so many gadgets, it might look varied. But some of them are actually available in some of these stalls, in the trade stalls. So basically when we go for a high-tech, it's electronic magnification. All high-tech has electronic magnifications. You have the desktop options are also available. Transportable options are available where you can move things, give the children to move around with these devices. These video magnifiers, or we call it as a pocket video magnifiers, this can be also are also available in the market. Roughly the market price will be around 15 to 20,000 rupees. You get a reasonably good video magnifier. There are many advantages with these magnifiers because you can inverse the colors, you can enlarge the magnification and then take a photo also and then read it later. So those are the options available. And then currently the head-mounted magnification is coming into the market. You should have read about the Samsung gears. Probably in a couple of years, we might have all these gadgets coming into the field, and the low vision is no exception. We will get all those technology into those head-mounted gears. How it helps is that apart from the telescopes, you have a very good view of the field. You can increase the contrast. You have something like a remote control in your hand, and that will work very good. The interesting thing is that the people who have developed these E-Sight head-mounted gears were at Aravind maybe a couple of months back, and they are looking at the options. Right now it works to around $1,500, but I think if they can tap an Indian or a Chinese market, if they're able to build volumes, I think that should be available at an affordable price. So this head-mounted video magnification will be one of the recent technologies that you will see maybe in another 5 years time it should be in Indian market. Computer accessibility is also one of the important areas. There are screen enlarging software, screen reading softwares are available, and you don't need to really spend money on these things. The NVDA or the non-visual desktop is a freely downloadable software. You go to Google and then just type NVDA. There is a software that is available. You can download it on to your desktop. Just attach two speakers. Whatever text we type, you will have it as a voice output. That's one free downloadable software that is an Indian development. But all these screen enlarging softwares like the Zoom test or other Windows magnifiers are commercially available. You have to pay a price for that. All these are screen reading softwares. JAWS software is one of the very popularly known software, which is called as a job access with speech. It is installed in many of these blind schools, and many of the banks nowadays they install the JAWS software for their employees who are visually impaired, or they are also recruit people who are blind, and they are employable with these softwares. And Windows has all the options. If you go to the Windows 10, you have all the options as magnifiers, narrators. Other accessibility options are available. You have ergonomic adjustments are available. You have different types of keyboards which are useful for the children. Voice recognition softwares are available. Text-to-speech options are available. This is very important when we are going to use smartphones. Today we see the blind people using the button phones, but today you are getting smartphones with touch technology which uses this text-to-speech. And then Google has this text-to-speech in different Indian languages. So you will have these smartphones in Indian languages also, probably in another few years' time. There is one company called Blind Shell. You can just try this website also. It's called blindshell.com. It can be purchased as an online also, and it comes to around maybe around 200 euros. This is again one important option you can tell your patients. And then there are many high-tech writing devices are available. So the reason for working with these low vision children and then providing them with these magnifiers or other technologies is that unless we intervene at this level, they are going to become blind. Because it's not, for a blind, the curriculum is very simple. It's going to be Braille. But for the low vision, it's going to be complex, because you need to have several options. And what is the option as an ophthalmologist we are going to recommend is very, very important. So unless we have a wide knowledge about all these options, we may not be able to help these children. This is one of the articles that is published in IGO, where you can see the quality of life has been actually improved from 83 to 92 when a child or an adult receives a low vision aid. This is one of our publications in Indian Journal of Ophthalmology. And as I said, except the handheld telescope, today you have these Ocotech telescopes, which are called as a bioptic telescope, which is cosmetically acceptable, very simple. And then this is affordable also. This can be easily mounted on the top of the spectacle frame. So this works, this combines two principles, the periscope and the telescope. You know, a periscope actually collects the rays and then passes it on horizontally. So you have an eyepiece on the other side, and this can be mounted either inversely also, either to the right eye or to the left eye. You can inverse it depending on the dominant eye. So we have started prescribing these bioptic telescopes. This is one of our school-going child in the 10th standard, and then she was very much interested in this bioptic telescope. And then coming to the near vision aids, as I said, CCTV is one of the latest option. I just wanted to show this. This is a mouse type CCTV. You don't have any complex things. It can be connected to a laptop also with a simple adapter. and the video magnifiers are also available. So this is one of the boy who had a did mode syndrome with diabetes and then other associated problems, and he was very much benefited with the CCTV. And as I said, vision stimulation is also a very important aspect in the rehabilitation of children with vision impairment. So let me conclude with the Helen Keller's saying that when one door of happiness is closed, there is another door open. So we have to spend the time with these children. Thank you.